morning. Buongiorno a tutte e a tutti. Good morning, everybody. So first I will present myself. I'm Andrea Di Piazza. I work as an editorial manager and senior officer in Fondazione Utilitatis and Utilitalia. Fondazione Utilitatis is the research center of Utilitalia, which is the Italian Federation of Public Utilities. Fondazione Utilitatis is basically a research center, so we made research on the topic of water, waste and energy sector, mainly for the Italian market. Our aim is to publish documents and indeed publication during the year. So Blue Book, which is the monograph of the water sector, Italian water sector, is published every year, such as the Green Book, which is the publication dedicated to the waste sector as well. And then we have a deep knowledge on sustainability. So we edit each year the sustainability report based on data that come from the companies related to the network of Utilitalia. So first of all, thank you so much for inviting me and us and having us here. This topic is extremely interesting and I think is strictly related with what we do. I hope there could be possible exchange of knowledge in the future. So talking about water means talking about climate change. I mean, you know, climate is changing, and so water cycle is. The prediction of the precipitation in Central Europe in the next 50 to 70 years are expecting in decreasing the water availability. We expect a decrease in precipitation between 20% to 30% less in the central Mediterranean area, which means in the area between Spain, southern Italy and Greece. So this means less water available in the future. And this is confirmed right now by the model developed at national level, for example, by ISPRA, which is the Italian institution that made research in the environmental field. As you can see, in the last 50 to 70 years, we already had a strong decrease of the water availability at national level. So this poses a serious threat to our most precious resource. So this means that we need a strong infrastructure to deliver water to all the European inhabitants and to all the Italian inhabitants. These are data from Euro that are referred to the extension of the water network infrastructure in Europe. As you can see, is a huge network. The total mapped length is 4.3 million kilometers, which is almost 10 times the distance between the Earth and the Moon. The situation is variable among the 27 European countries, and this is related mostly to the population density, but also to the capacity of investing in this field by each state. Just to give you some number, data per capita of the average length are almost 8.7 meters per inhabitant. One of the most critical points regarding the water distribution network are distribution losses, as we all know. Actually, in Europe, there is not an agreed method to calculate leakages. So we usually use to refer to two main indicators. Distribution losses calculated as a ratio between the volume of water that is in input in the network and the volume of water that is billed. And linear leakage, which means an indicator that takes more into account the physical dimension of the phenomena. The reason why is not there is not agreed in the calculation indicator, I mean, is because each state calculates this parameter in a different way. So no comparison is possible between different countries. But what we can see is that at an average level, the distribution losses in percentage are around 25% of non-revenue water, and linear leakages are almost in average 2,700 cubic meter per kilometer each year. So in Italy, as you can see, Italy has one of the worst data on leakages in Europe. And actually, there is a strong debate on which one is the best indicator to calculate distribution losses right here in Italy, because, as you know, this is a parameter that is linked to the technical quality made by the authority ARERA in Italy. The sector is regulated in it. And actually, probably the best indicator to calculate leakages is the linear one, because it takes into account the physical dimension of the phenomena. We can say something about the sewer network distribution European level as well. As you can see, the network is very developed, even if it's less developed than the water network distribution. Data on the total mapped length is 3.2 million kilometers, which is less than what we saw before. And of course, also here, the situation is different among the 27 European countries. This is a bit a pity, because wastewater are as important as the natural water. And one topic that is very interesting is that we don't talk so much about leakages in this network. And actually, this is a huge problem, because if leakage in the water network distribution is just water returning into the cycle, this is not clean water, this is wastewater, and it poses a serious threat to our health and to our environment. So we hope that politics will start to speak more about this topic in the future. So now let's concentrate a bit on the Italian situation. As you know, the water management in Italy is Italy divided in 93 small area of management, where by law is expected to have each operator for each area. But actually the situation is more different. And we saw almost 244 industrial operators acting right now, so managing the water in Italy, with a different situation between the north and south of the country. We think that this fragmentation, we call it like this, is a bit at the base of the problem and the critical aspect that we see in this sector, for example, regarding data on water leakages. So this is strictly linked to the capacity of investment of this operator. Regarding the integration of the system, which means the supply chain, let's call it like this, of the water management, which means the distribution, the sewerage and the purification in Italy, the best case is to have all the system integrated by a single industrial operator. This is correct for 85% of the Italian population, but there are still 7 million of people in our country, which means 12% of the national population, that are served by local authorities, which mean basically municipalities. So why is important making this difference? It's important because these two subjects, industrial operator and local authorities, have a complete different investment capacity. Let's start looking at the data from the industrial operators in Italy. These are data from Utilitatis Foundation. We map every year the investment rate of Italian industrial operator and the local authorities. As you can see, from 2012 to 2023, so the dark blue histogram, investment rate increased from 33 euro per inhabitant to 65 euro per inhabitant. This means 99% plus of investment rate from 2012. That is the year when the authority entered in the water management sector in Italy. So the system is regulated since 11 years mostly. In the last year, investments founded by the NRRP, so PNRR, increased a lot the investment rate that we are expecting. It will increase at a rate of almost 7% each year in the next 2 years. Indeed, the light blue histogram is the part with the estimated investment rate of industrial operator in the next 2 years. Now let's have a look at the investment rate of local authority. As you can see by the number, I mean, the difference is incredible. In the average investment rate of local authorities, which means, I recall, municipalities serving 7 million of people, it was in average 11 euro per inhabitant. In 2023, we observed an increase in the investment rate, mostly due to the effect of the fund of NRRP, Italian NRRP. We see a difference between North and South. This is mostly due to the effect of the NRRP in the south of the country. Imagine that the last data related to the investment at European level are averagely 80 to 85 euro per inhabitant. So in both cases, we are still a bit far from the European average. So we need to increase investment. As Utilitatis Foundation, we analyzed the categories of investment related to industrial operator. We analyzed in the last Blue Book from a panel of 73 operators, investment for 7.1 billion euro in the period 2021-2023. These are the main categories of investment. As you can see, industrial operators invest mostly on trying to reduce water leakages, so 27% is almost 2 billion. Sewerage network and wastewater management is 28% of the total volume of investment, so is basically the same as for the water leakages. And then we had other category of investments like resolving service interruption or in water resilience, which is a new indicator proposed by the authority. We made also an estimation of the funds related to digitalisation. This takes into account 3 to 5% of the total volume, which we think is very little in this case, because as you know, we need to digitalize more our network. Regarding the data from the authority, indeed we can, sorry, this is my phone, someone is calling. These are data from the authority. As you can see, the situation related to the distribution losses, which is the first category of investment, are going much better each year, even if the decrease is not that significant. You can see a strong difference between north and south. In the south, the data on the water leakages are triple than the north of Italy, respect the linear indicator, and in percentage is almost the double. We think that this is indeed due to the capacity of investment of industrial operator in the north and the littler presence of industrial operator in the south, as we saw in the map before. Just to give some more data context on water network distribution in Italy, this network has an age problem, indeed. So we don't know the age of our network for the 48% of the total length. We really don't know what age is. Mostly the age that we know is over 31 years old, which means this is an old network. With 13% of the network, there is over 50 years old. And of course, this is an issue that is strictly related to the state of our network and so to the distribution losses. The good news is that among the sample that we have analyzed, averagely 90% of the network is georeferenced, and this is a good news because this means that at least we know we have location information on the network and information of other kind, and we can assure that investment in digitalization are making the network more renewed, let's say. As well, data on sewer distribution network, which we think has the same importance as water distribution network. Also here we have an age problem. 66% of the age of this network is unknown. The rest is almost quite old. And also here the good news is that the network is georeferenced averagely for the 91% of the total length. So we said we need more investment indeed. We need more investment in digitalization, as we saw, also to support projects like the one you are presenting nowadays is extremely interesting. NRRP has two main intervention lines to finance intervention in the water sector in Italy. The first one was cube 2 billion euro and was related mostly to investments in the primary water infrastructure, which means, for example, big reservoir, but also main network of distribution. And then a different intervention line, cube 1.9 billion euro, and is addressed to the reduction of leakages and to the digitalization of the network, with a special fund dedicated mainly to the south, because as we saw, south is most affected by this critical point. Nowadays, the government adopt a new plan of intervention. It's called PNISSI, which is like an evil acronym, and is basically a list of projects that must be adopted in the following years. It covers 12 billion euro and money to the water network distribution cube almost 7 billion euro, so it's the largest part of the plan. But why investment are so important in this sector? Because today, as we saw by data, the per capita data, we need an estimated need of investment in the water sector of 6 billion euro per year. Nowadays, tariff sustain this investment for 4 billion euro per year. NRRP gave us a boost with almost 1.1 billion euro per year, even if operators are still getting their money. So we will see how we will go. The problem is that already now we miss 0.9 billion euro to reach the estimated need in our country. And the goal of 6 billion euro is to reach at least an investment rate per capita of 100 euro per inhabitant, which is we think that is the level that we need to make our infrastructure more resilient and more sustainable, also to face the future challenges that we are expecting in our country. Indeed, which challenges? The first one, as we said, is the climate change. Climate is already changing. We saw the effect on water cycle is visible. In our country, in the last 2 years, we had from severe drought to extreme flood. So it means that now climate is really going a bit crazy indeed. And so we must preserve water. As you can see on the right side, this is a model developed by CNR that contributed to the Blue Book of this year, and is the distribution of standard precipitation index in 9 river basins in Italy. These are data from 1982 to nowadays. As you can see, if you can see 20 to 30 years ago, the severe droughts that are the red mark were mainly distributed in the river in the south of the country. South is below and north is up. And now in the last 20 years, the situation is not only the opposite, but severe droughts are affecting all the country. So the climate change is real and the effect on the water cycle is visible. And not only climate is changing, also population. This is a topic that no one talk about, but imagine in Italy, the decrease in population in the following 20 years will be of 2 million of inhabitants. This means, of course, that there will be places in Italy, territories that will have a decrease in population, but there will be places where the population will increase. And this poses a risk for the investment that are needed indeed to increase as well, and this, but with less people. So this means that it will cost more to the industrial operator to make investments. And of course, it will have a reflex on the tariff. So our proposal, we are deepening the research in this field because it's extremely interesting to see indeed the economic effect of the decrease in population. Our proposal is to broaden the area of interest of the tariff from the small area where we saw in the map before, where the single operator managed the water system, to a broader area, because like this, the cost, the increase in the cost can be balanced in a bigger population. And we calculate that the positive effect could be to reduce the cost for the operator and of the tariff of about 25%. For example, if in the south of Italy, that is the place that it will be, where the population will decrease the most, if the tariff is extended to a broadened area like South Italy. Indeed, we have margin to increase our tariff, but we need more fund to sustain investment. As you can see, Italian cities that are in the light blue have the among the lowest water tariff compared to other cities in Europe. So we need to increase a bit the tariff if we need it, and more public fund to sustain investment and to make our infrastructure more resilient, not only to climate change, but also to other variables like the demography, to preserve the most precious resource that we have, that is water. So I have concluded, and I just leave you here a QR code from which you can download our publication, the Blue Book, which is the monography regarding the water system in Italy, in Italian for the extended version, and in English an executive summary. Thank you.